Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. For sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. We are just hitting y'all with the NBA as we're gearing up for that time and the playoffs. And speaking of playoffs, the man that is not dressed in orange and blue, Austin.
No, I am not a Knicks lover, but this Knicks team is very, very good, and I'm excited to see how this trade window, picking up Bojan Bogdanovic affects them. How, when they get fully healthy, good will they be? And we'll have to see. But Thibodeau's playing a lot of his starters a plethora of minutes. I know Jalen Brunson missed his most recent game against the Mavs because he had tweaked his ankle in the game before, and you don't want him playing 40 minutes on not the best ankle. But are they sustainable? Do we think that them playing this many minutes to their star guys is sustainable? And if so, how dangerous will they be come playoff time?
Yeah, I think you brought up a great point. I know Thibodeau really has when he finds a lineup he likes and a set of starters he likes, he doesn't really expand the bench. And I think you need that in the regular season. You can do this in the playoffs. So they do have a deep bench, but you mentioned injuries. So I'm going to say it's not really sustainable come playoff time, just because of the wear and tear of the regular season.
Say that again.
I don't think it's sustainable because the players are going to be worn down from playing all these minutes in the regular season when it comes playoff time.
That's true. I could definitely see that. But if you get a high enough seed, you could kind of rest your players towards the end of the year. I don't really know. It's definitely not sustainable if you think you're going to play these guys at 82 games and have them get injured as much as they have. We'll have to see. These guys getting injured may be a blessing in disguise because they get to rest while they're not playing. They just have to be fully healthy and ready to go come playoff time. I think that they are a great team, fully healthy, playing their guys. And I think Thibodeau's also kind of finding out who can be those guys as depth options off the bench when they are fully healthy, because they would probably start Mitchell Robinson, but I think Isaiah Hartenstein's a great backup center. Dante DiVincenzo probably wouldn't start when OG and Julius Randle are back because they have Bojan Bogdanovic probably starting. So you Dante DiVincenzo, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Josh Hart off the bench. And with just those three guys right there, I think that you could definitely expand this to 8 players. And playoffs are usually 8 players. So I think that they could divvy up the minutes enough to give everyone a good rest. And it's just whether or not Thibodeau will be willing to do that. Or is he going to continue to play 6 guys a lot of minutes? I mean, they still have Precious Achiuwa also off the bench, I think could also. So that's 9. And if you want to start Alec Burks, who they traded for, or I guess they could start Taj Gibson too. So I don't really know. But I definitely think you could get it to 9 players. A 9-man rotation come playoff time, and that's all you really need.
Yeah, you can definitely do it. We saw the Mavs do it when they made that run to the conference finals, a small rotation, just because you're focusing on the guys. I'm worried about injuries. You mentioned Isaiah Hartenstein. I saw he left the Mavs game with Achilles soreness, and that's going to put a lot on Taj Gibson, and as they try to replace Mitchell Robinson, who's been injured. But we'll just have to see. If they're relatively healthy, I think they'd be a good team in the playoffs. I'm not sure if they can go super far because it's just a lot of stars. I don't know if they have that superstar caliber player. You could argue Brunson. I haven't seen that from Brunson. He's shown signs of it. I'm just not sure if he can consistently do it. But it's just getting through it. And you mentioned this could be blessing in disguise as they figure out, okay, here are some guys that can take up these minutes in the regular season. If they can stay afloat around the 4 seed, that's good because they get home stadium advantage. And if it's just they got to lock it up if they want to rest later on the season, and we'll just have to see about that.
Yeah. So as a final take, it's not sustainable, but I do think that they could be good come playoff time if these guys out have the necessary rest. Thibodeau's can't consistently play Brunson every night 45 minutes or 40 minutes and imagine that he's going to be ready come playoff time. But again, people in the 90s used to do that. So I do think it's going to depend on who gets healthy and how much rest he does give his players. And they do need a top 4 seed to have home court advantage.
Yeah. So that's it. Okay, so you and I are both in agreement. It's not sustainable, but as long as they're healthy for the playoffs, that's all that matters. It's just get to the playoffs healthy and then see what happens. And that's all I got, and I'll toss this over to you.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know, is it sustainable? What can the Knicks do in the postseason? Catch us in our next video.